How we doing? How we doing? David Wilson, Business Savage here. Welcome to the pre-show, No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show on IBGR.network. We will be live. Well, we're live now. We will be live on the radio. Radio show's not on yet, so we will be live in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Business Sav is on. So be ready. Got a great show today. All our notes are straight. Sound check. Check should be good. Should be good. Good on the radio. And we'll be ready to go. So you can interact with me during the show. You can make comments. I will do my best to get to them during the show. My limited technology, my technology ability has gotten a lot better. So, I went from being able to turn the computer on. I'm just kidding. I'm a little bit better than that. All right. So while you're here, got about 5 minutes to go. If you don't have the app already for IBGR Network, go to your favorite app store. I mean, there's only two because there's only like two phones, Android and what's the other one? Shoot. Oh yeah, the Apple phone, iPhone, right? Okay, so go to the app stores there and search for IBGR. And no hate. Don't send me anything. There's no hate on Apple. Okay, no hate on Apple. Of course. Well, anyway, we won't get into that. Search IBGR. Download the app. You can listen to us live. You can listen to me live. You can go to our community and interact with on-air talent, which is always fun. Interact with on-air talent like me and like all the other experts that are on in the community. Ask your questions, answer questions, network, what have you. So that'll be good. Let's check our lighting here. Okay, lighting is good. All right. Good. And you can go to, while you're also at it, you can go to YouTube and you can or subscribe to the All Things David Wilson YouTube channel. You can also, there should be a link that actually works, a link in this post where you can subscribe to the podcast, the No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show podcast. You can hear past shows and you can hear shows moving forward. We'll be starting season 4 in like 7 days. No, not 7 days, but 14 days. We'll be starting season 4. So looking forward to that. So you are now officially behind the scenes where all the magic happens. So loose, hydrated, we are ready to go. For those of you who are new to the show, today's show is going to be, I'll tell you that. I don't want to waste this on that, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to tell stories. It's an interesting show. It's a fun show. Today is going to be all about asking questions from the listeners. So that's going to be cool. I'm contemplating whether or not I will put my jacket on just to make it official. I don't know if I'm going to do it with the hat and sunglasses or not. We'll see how I feel. Gets a little hot in the studio. No. All right. In-house engineer Steve says no for the hat and the sunglasses. So whatever. We'll see. Good thing it's not the business Steve, right? Yeah. Okay. When you have your own show, you can make decisions like this. So we'll see. It'll be a game time decision. Watching my clock. So my countdown clock before the show before me goes off is about a minute. And then we have about a minute and a half of commercials before we launch. Okay, just got word from and all the while, got it. We're communicating back and forth. So myself, Steve, Donna, and Bill back in the home studio. So it's pretty cool, the setup. Shout out to William Eastman and Donna Kunde for being the brain children behind IBGR. So we certainly appreciate that for making this possible for you and for all of us. So we are going to get ready. And for those of you who are watching, we'll do it for you. I got to ask, are you ready? All right, then say my name. Seen a little bit. All right. Welcome to No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here on IBGR Network. My name is David Wilson, Business Savage, and welcome to our show. Awesome. We are broadcasting live from the capital of the South, Richmond, Virginia, USA. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and welcome to the show. Thank you very much. All right. Cool opening there. Haters are already coming out of the woodwork. What a shame. What a shame. What a shame. But that's fine. That's fine, because that's the type of pushback we as entrepreneurs and business owners sometimes face when we are doing something a little bit different, a little bit against the grain. Yeah, that's what happens. But anyway, okay. Enough of this. First, let me say welcome to our new users. So our new users, our new listeners. Yeah, new listeners, welcome. So if you are new to IBGR Network, if you're new to the Business Savage, welcome. We're going to have some fun today. This is a show where we will be answering questions that come directly from the viewers, and the listeners. So right now we have folks who are listening on IBGR.network. We also have folks who are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter/Periscope. I don't know which one is. I guess they're both kind of the same, right? But that's how that is. All right. Also, big shout out to our returning listeners who are with us. Thank you very much. So to our returning listeners, if it weren't for you, we would not have had a show last week, because you wouldn't be returning listeners. Okay, I got a million of those. Okay. And as always, our in-house engineer, Steve Euphemi. He does a great job behind the scenes, so that's great. Let's get a couple of IBGR things out of the way here. If you don't have the app by now, you should get it. So we have an app, IBGR. Go to Android, go to Apple, download the app, just search for IBGR, and you can listen to the show. You can listen to the show live right in the palm of your hand. You can also interact with us through the community, interact with me, and interact with all the other on-air talent through the community. Ask questions. You can answer questions. You can search for free stuff. You can get free stuff. You can buy stuff, what have you. So please do that. Bill. Please do that. All right. What's the title, Steve? What did we title this show? I think it's called Savvee Q&A. So Savvee Q&A, where we answer questions that come in from you guys, the listeners. So I'm excited. Let's jump right in. So Steve has given me my list here, and let's talk. All right. Let's see. Okay. First question comes in from Lauren. Who inspired you to be an entrepreneur? Who inspired you to be an entrepreneur? Well, Lauren, that's an interesting question. My inspiration to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, to kind of control my destiny, came from someone I didn't really realize that person was even an entrepreneur. I didn't know what an entrepreneur was. So this goes out to my grandmother, Eileen Hodge. Okay, so Eileen Hodge, my grandmother, was in fact a business owner, was in fact an entrepreneur. So much so that her entrepreneurial activities got her a house, got her a couple of cars in her lifetime, provided for children, provided for at the time, grandchildren. So I grew up in that house, and it was you don't really think about it as a little kid, but my grandmother had an ironing, clothing washing and ironing business, and she worked for families. She would go get their clothes and wash them and iron them. Until the day she died, there was only one other person that could iron a shirt better than I could, and that was Eileen Hodge, right? Now I have the title. So that's just the way that is. See? I have the title. For those of you listening on the radio, I just kind of half popped my collar, letting them know that I ironed a shirt really well. But she was definitely my inspiration, looking back especially. So now it's easier for me to see just kind of the impact that had on my life, because she controlled her destiny. She worked hard. There's no doubt about it. But she was a business owner. So shout out to Eileen Hodge and all the mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers who work really hard to make things happen. All right. We're still in the first segment, huh? Okay. Yeah. All right. I kind of don't want to blow through all the questions we have. We do have a good number. Do we have time for another one before we go to break? Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll do that one. All right. This one comes in from Jacob. Jacob asks, what do you wish you had known before starting your business? Okay. This may take us into the next segment. I want to put a little bit of time into this. So Jacob, the two things, I would say two things come to mind that I wish I had before starting my business. It's knowledge, the knowledge that I wish I had had. One was knowledge of personality types and how to deal with certain personality types differently, because all personality types are different. So how to sell to extroverts versus introverts, how to sell to from a disc profile standpoint, from a Myers-Briggs personality type standpoint, how to sell to them differently, how to listen to them differently, how to communicate to them differently. That has made a huge difference in the way I do business, understanding those personality types and how to communicate to them, what they're really saying when they're not saying something, how to say things to them without being prickly or appearing like heavy-handed or what have you. The second piece of knowledge is the knowledge of vibration, how to emit vibrations and how to receive vibrations, because I've learned that you can feel vibrations of people, positive and negative, and I carry that with me regularly as I move through my business, and it's important. So it's very important. So if I had those two things when I started, things would have been a lot different. I'm glad I have them now. But that's the answer to Jacob's question. We are rolling. Okay. Good timing on that. It's a good place to stop. So David Wilson, the Business Savage, we're going to go to break and we're going to answer some more questions on the way back. Savvee. Like that? Shout out to Bello, my theme music there. All right. Shoot, I'm glad I almost forgot what we were on. Oh, that would have been a disaster. Okay. Start talking junk behind the scenes. Okay, so that was our first segment. That went pretty well. Remember, you can comment during the show. You can comment now if you want to send me messages, send me questions. I don't know if we're gonna. We have some questions selected. Oopsie. So we want to get to those. Kind of have those pre-selected, pre-selected like right when the show started. So I don't really know exactly what I'm going to say, but we're gonna answer them. We want to try to make the answers as authentic as possible. But be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can go to All Things David Wilson All Things David Wilson on Instagram, and you can also go to allthingsdavidwilson.com. That's kind of my landing page, which is pretty cool. So you can get to all of me there, which is also pretty cool. So that's it. About 30 seconds before we launch, and we will be back into segment 2, where we answer some more questions. All right. See you in a little bit. Welcome back to No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show with David Wilson, the Business Savage, here on IBGR Network, broadcasting live from the capital of the South, Richmond, Virginia, USA. You are listening to the IBGR Network, Profit Radio. Come grow with us. You might also be watching live on IBGR Network's Facebook page, IBGR Network's YouTube channel, All Things David Wilson channels, The Business Savage, Fund You Up, David Wilson Twitter account. It's true. David Wilson has a Twitter account. I'm not sure why that's funny, but I've had a Twitter account since Twitter started, probably, and we will be trying next week. We're going to attempt to broadcast live on MySpace, but don't hold your breath for it. Okay, let's get back into our questions. I told you we would have fun, because that was pretty funny. Because MySpace is, you get it, because next question let's just jump right back into our questions. Next question comes from, and by the way, all of these questions selected from our listeners, selected by Steve himself. So good job, Steve. They're all entrepreneurship related, business related, leadership mindset, business decision related questions. So they're definitely relevant. So hopefully you'll be able to take away with some of these answers nuggets that you can use right now, nuggets that will help you in your business, nuggets that will help you maybe solve a problem, address a concern, maybe help you be better, better as a leader, better as an entrepreneur, better as a business owner, like that. So that's the whole idea but behind this segment. Well, this type of show. Okay, ready? So this comes in from Christopher. Christopher asks, which leadership skill was most difficult to develop? Which leadership skill was most difficult to develop? That's easy. That's an easy answer. For me, it was a leadership skill that I didn't even know was a leadership skill. It was something that, I just didn't, I didn't have it naturally. So I didn't think I needed it, right? It's like if you don't know, you don't know. That leadership skill, which I know now, is incredibly important, and it's compassion. So compassion is something I developed probably later than I would have liked to have developed it. The first thing I had to do was admit that I didn't have any compassion. And I think at one point in my life, I am 45. So at one point in my life, probably in my 20s, I didn't have a ton of compassion. And I think as leaders, the things that we go through, I have a ton of favorite sayings. Some of them are mine that I actually say and expect people to, if they send a meme out, to like keep my name on it. And then there's other things that I say that I give other people credit because it's their saying. Adversity, this is not mine. Adversity does not build character, it reveals it. And I found that when you go through stuff, and stuff can mean anything. Stuff is the pressure that you face as a business owner. Stuff is the pressure you face as a parent. The stuff you face as a spouse. The stuff you face as a son, as a daughter, as a child, as an uncle, as a nephew, what have you. The pain and the challenge, all of that conglomerates into this thing that should ideally help you grow. And that's what happened to me. So that leadership skill was very difficult for me to, thinking about it, it wasn't, I think it was harder to acknowledge that I didn't have it than it was to, once I acknowledged it, to actually develop it. I came up with this saying. I was supposed to be doing a live on it, like I think last week, but something happened. I don't know, but I think the internet went out or something. I don't remember. But it was, the old saying goes, you never know you never know. The saying is, you never know where a man's been until you've walked a mile in his shoes. So you never know where a person has been until you've walked a mile in their shoes. Right. And a lot of times we say that we know what that's like. So of course, I know exactly what you mean. I can definitely see your perspective. I can see what it's like. I've walked in your shoes. When you really, what we have a tendency to do instead, and this is where the compassion comes in. We have a tendency to walk in another person's shoes in our shoes. That makes sense? We have a tendency to walk in another person's shoes in our shoes instead of walking in another person's shoes in another person's shoes. There's a fine line there, and that's where the compassion comes into play. Because you can't be compassionate, you can't be fully compassionate without almost transforming into that person when you're walking their walk in their shoes. So you may not know what it's like in a certain situation because you wouldn't feel that way in that certain situation. Well, that's a perfect example of, well, I don't understand why you felt like that. I wouldn't feel that way if somebody said that to me, is not compassion. That is argument, right? That's argument. When you take a step back, and as leaders, we have to do this because as leaders, sometimes we are managers, sometimes we are mentors, sometimes we're certainly parents, we're certainly partners. We have to be able to take that step back and listen. And that's probably the two pieces of that: being able to walk a mile in another person's shoes in their shoes, and being able to listen. When I really mastered that, that's when things changed for me. So. Whose question was that? Christopher. So Christopher, there's your answer to that question. Compassion is definitely it. So we have about 2:30 to go before our second segment is over. I want to go back to Jacob's question real quick. I want to throw a little bit more at that from a vibrational standpoint. Vibration, we talk about, you hear about The Secret, and you hear about being positive and whatnot. The beauty about energy is vibration is energy. Everything is vibrating something. Vibration, energy is neither created nor destroyed, it's simply transferred from one body to another, right? So our souls are vibration. Our emotions are vibrations. You can change the mood of a room with your vibration, positively or negatively. You can change the vibe of a conversation with your vibration, either positive or negative. So, Jacob, I wanted to throw that out at you, and to remind our listeners and watchers that we have more control over situations than we probably think we do. Once we really understand how to control vibrations, we are going to go to break soon. So we have about 15 seconds. This is going very well, ibgr.network. We're going to get to some more questions on the other side of the break. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will see you on the other side. All right, Savvy. And cut. Okay. I always wanted to do that. Yeah. Okay. So that is so we're rolling pretty well here. Technology is great today. Let me make sure I am on here so I can hear. Technology is going well. Nice flow. Good. Got folks listening on all of our platforms, which is good. I want to thank you all who are out there who are watching. I appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. The link is in the post wherever you're watching. So I know we are live on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. So wherever you're watching, just go ahead and click on that link, and it'll take you, and you can subscribe using your favorite podcast provider. And you can keep in contact with me and future shows. Let's see. All right, that's cool. And you'll be ready for season 4. Also go to ibgr.network, visit us at the community, and you can interact with on-air talent like myself. You can interact with our station managers, Donna and Bill. You can interact with all of us. And remember, we're all over the world. Right now, we are broadcasting in almost 80% of the countries all over the world, which is cool. I'll say that on the air when we get back on. I hope I remember to say that. But we'll say it on the air and make sure people know that, because I think that's important. So, all right, let me go to my avatar, and we will get back into this radio thing. And I'll see you in about 45 seconds. Stand by. Stand by in 3, 2. Thank you. Welcome back to No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show on IBGR Network. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage. And welcome back to the Savvy Q&A show, where we answer questions that come directly from our listeners, just like you. And on IBGR Network, that was cold, right? That was okay. On the IBGR Network, Profit Radio, we're having too much fun here. Come grow with us. I was speaking to the folks who were watching live, and one of the things I wanted to make sure I said on the radio air, was that we are broadcasting. The royal we of IBGR and the on-air talent and the IBGR folks are broadcasting live to almost 80% of the world. Almost 80% of the world. So we are in 80% of the countries of the world, soon to be 100%. Soon to be 100% of the countries in the world. We will get Antarctica. Don't worry. And don't write me. I know it's a continent, but just Okay. All right. All right, Steve. Ready? Let's just jump right in. Move right into our next question. Let's see. So, all right. This comes in from Faith. Faith asks, I don't feel like I should take any responsibility for things that happen in my business that are not my fault. Do you think this is the right way to go? Absolutely. I think it's the right way to go. I believe that you should take absolutely no responsibility for anything that happens in your business ever. So, of course not. Of course, that's not a good way to go. That's absolutely not a good way to go. Here's where I think you're going, though, with your question. And this actually, so this is kind of a setup. So the way Steve presented this question to me, there were other questions kind of like this that had to do with things that were out of our control, and it had to do with one of my favorite things. It's mine now. My wrestling coach, rest in peace, Bobby Tiedemann, used to say, "Control the controllables." So he has left that saying to me. So now it is mine. So control the controllables. He might have stolen it, but I have no knowledge of that, and I can't be held responsible for it. Right? See, I can't be held. So I think this question had a lot to do with things like COVID. So when COVID hits, how can I take responsibility for something I can't control? I get that. That makes sense. I'll leave you. I will offer this, though, and this will take you much further than, hey, it's not my fault, I don't need to take responsibility for it. It'll take you much further than that. And it is, as a leader, it's always your fault. As a leader, it's always your fault. Oh, I know what you're saying. Whoa. What do you mean it's always my fault? I can't take responsibility for weather. I can't take responsibility for a pandemic. I don't have any control over that. I don't have any control over certain things. And let me be clear. So I set that up again. So Steve had a setup. Now I have a setup. As a leader, it's always your fault. Not exactly. That's where we get hung up. That's the hang up, because we're always worried about whose fault something is, as opposed to worrying about responsibility and being accountable for your team, being accountable for the results. So my business group is failing because of the pandemic. No, your business group is failing because if you're the leader, it's because of you. Period. That's the way it is. So it can't be, I get, oh yes, I get to pull up in the Maserati. I get the fresh watch. I get the when things go well, but when things don't go so well, it's somebody else's fault. It can't be that. And as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we have to take responsibility often for stuff that has nothing to do with us. Now, where do we go with that? Right? Where do we go with that? Here's the play on that. And this phrase, it's a question. And I use this almost every day, definitely every week. So something happens, doesn't matter what it is. And I will always, and the old saying, we're always talking about old sayings. Does that mean I'm old? How come I know so many old sayings? So as the old saying go, I can't even pretend to be a millennial because we'll just stick with old. We'll just stick with old and embrace it. As the old saying goes, when you're pointing your finger, and for those of you on the radio, I'm pointing my finger at the screen. When you're pointing your finger at someone, there's 3 pointing back at you. When you're pointing your finger at someone, there's 3 pointing back at you. And I had developed, here's a takeaway. So write this down. Write this in your favorite pad or buck. If it were all my fault, put this in quotes. If it were all my fault, why would it be? If it were all my fault, why would it be? And this has taken me so far. This has taken me so far. So, I asked you to fill the car up, put gas in the car. We ran out of gas. You didn't do what I asked you to do. As a leader, if it were all my fault, why would it be? Now, some of you might be saying, well, Savvy, that means no one is ever held accountable. That's not what that means. As I'm absolutely not saying that. I'm absolutely not saying that. As leaders, we have to hold our team accountable. We have to hold our people accountable. But what I'm talking about is self-reflective. What I'm talking about is self-correcting. So I want to make sure when something like this happens that I'm gonna be prepared to do what I can do now and in the future to ensure it doesn't happen again. That's what I'm seeking. I want to make sure. So it is taking that responsibility in that manner. I have found is a weight off of my shoulders, because conversely, you're walking around trying to figure out whose fault something is. You're trying to figure out, well, I didn't get the books that I wanted. So it's her fault and it's his fault and it's her fault. And it's certainly not mine. And while all of this is going on, you still don't have any books. Or you still don't have a car with gas in it, or you still don't have the deal that you were supposed to close, or you still don't have, well, she didn't do what she was supposed to do. He didn't send what he was supposed to send. He didn't. It doesn't make a difference, you see, because as leaders, we are the ones holding the bag. We're the last ones holding the bag. And we have to make sure we can keep our heads if all those around us are losing theirs and blaming it on us. So that's an if reference. Look at it. You can Google that. One of my favorite poems there. If. So Faith, I would say, no, it's not the right way to go. If you employ, if this were all my fault, why would it be? It's gonna take you a long way. It's gonna take you a long way. So that is that question. So we have about a minute. Actually, we have about a minute to go, and we want to. Yeah, we're not gonna start another question. We'll start another question in the next segment, and we'll begin to wrap it up. So again, thank you for listening to No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here on IBGR Network. Yep. Okay. So we have time. So we're gonna try to squeeze in one question before the break. The question comes in from Johnny. Is Steve real? Is Steve real? We'll see you on the other side. We don't have time to answer that. No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here on IBGR Network. Savvy. Steve, for real. Give me a break. Okay, third segment. Okay. Yeah, we're rolling, guys. We're rolling. Thanks for listening. Um, Shout out to, let's see, who do we have here? Shout out to Donna. Thank you, Donna. Shout out to Bill. Thank you, Bill. Shout out from Nairobi, Kenya. All right. All right, Susan. Thank you. Thank you. So we will just go right into our last segment. Let's see. Yes. Okay. We are good to go. So if you have any questions, you can certainly type them into the chat. We won't get to them this show, but we might get to the next show. So right now, my my No Rejection Connection commercial is playing on the radio. So that's available at thenorejectionconnection.com. So that's a plug for our digital product to help you to connect anybody to anybody, anywhere, for any reason, without the fear of rejection ever again, and that includes yourself. So if you have a challenge with connecting to people, you're afraid, you are hampered by fear, you can certainly check out the No Rejection Connection. All right, so now we're just about ready to go. So we're ticking down. We're about a minute to go before we go on air again. And thank you again for watching. And we'll be back on live. So stand by for Avatar. Hey, Steve, grab me that. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome back to No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here with David Wilson, the Business Savage, on IBGR Network, Profit Radio. Come grow with us. Yeah, didn't do that. All right, shout out to Bello with the intro music and the outro music. Haters Gonna Hate, which is totally apropos in this season, because for sure haters gon' hate, and that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, 11 minutes to go. Segment number 4, or segment D, depending on your preference. We are here on the Savvee Q&A show, where we answer questions that come directly from our audience, our listeners, and our watchers. We thank you for your support. We thank you for listening all over the world, in almost 80% of the world listening here on IBGR. So that is awesome. And again, make sure you download the app. Just search IBGR on Apple or on Android and get your app so you can listen to us, or listen to me. Or us, or any other on-air talent you want on IBGR, and join the community. Join the community, ask questions, interact with us, befriend us, share your ideas, learn, ask questions, answer questions, what have you. We are here to help, and we are here to change the world one business at a time. So thank you very much. Okay, I think we are going to be able to cover two more questions in this segment. So let's get after it. This next question comes in from Emily. Emily asks, was there ever a role you applied for and landed but weren't 100% qualified to do, and how did you proceed? Why, yes, Emily. Entrepreneurship. Yeah, I mean that's really the answer to that question. Because entrepreneurship, business ownership is kind of like parenting. Like there are books out there, there's manuals out there, but you really never know what you have to do, what you're gonna go through. People say, oh yeah, well, you're gonna be prepared. This is gonna happen, that's gonna happen, you really don't know. You really don't know. You can kind of sometimes predict certain things, but you really, really, really don't know for sure until you get your hands dirty. I remember back in college, I can say that I took one class. I'm not saying the business courses I took were not valuable. I will say, though, that the one business course I took that was very valuable was my entrepreneurship class. And that is what kind of reinforced in me what I was going to do. And even then, I mean, that's just not enough. The thing you have to do is you have to get in there and you have to take action. You have to take action. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to get your feet wet. You have to get in and make mistakes. You have to be willing to fail. We come up as kids, and we're taught that it's binary, that is either success or fail. So success is good, success is good, failure is bad. And it's not binary. There's quite a bit of gray there, and failure is not bad. When we fail, we progress. When we fail, we learn. So there's either successes or lessons instead of failure, right? And that's how we have to look at it. So I would say, Emily, that is definitely the answer to that question. All right, let's get to, it looks like we'll have time for one more question. And that is coming in from Nina. I think we got to them all. Let's do that one. Nah, that's okay. We'll do that one. All right. So from Nina offers this. You always seem so upbeat, funny, and positive. What advice would you give other business owners and entrepreneurs to do the same? That's a pretty good question, Nina. And yeah, I would say choose it. So we have the ability to go back to one of my favorite now, right? One of my favorite sayings: control the controllables. I can't control what other people think of me. I can't control often the things that happen to me that are outside of my control, but I can control how I think about the things that happen to me. And I make it a point to every day just be thankful. Some of you know about a challenge. I'll call it a challenge I had about 3 years ago, October 7, 2017. Just go to Facebook and go to All Things David Wilson and check out the Deaths of David, the Deaths, DEATHS, the Deaths of David. And that's a story about something that happened to me. that caused me. I mean, it reinforced in me the need to be thankful. I never took much for granted. You know, I'm thankful. See, I'm thankful that I never took much for granted. But that's a heck of a story that kind of reinforced in me the need and the desire to be thankful. I think one of the things that changed about me from then to now in terms of mindset was just stress and stressing over the things. The control the controllables really resonated with me more after the challenge than before. And when I rise, thankfully, when I rise in the morning, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that I'm able to commute to my office. I'm thankful that I'm able to put on this pretty cool Pelican. So for the radio, sorry, hold on. For the radio listeners, I pointed to my my lapel pin, which is a pretty cool white. I guess what would that be? A carnation or like a mum? It's not a mum, is it? It's too small to be a mum. A mum. That's crazy. What are you talking about? Anyway, so I have a mum on my I have a mum on my chest. Holy cow, this is rolling downhill. Okay. Reset. So it is a choice. So I choose to be thankful for those little things. I'm thankful that I'm able to do this show. I'm thankful that I'm able to be live on the radio. I'm thankful that I can speak. And that helps me be upbeat, funny, and positive. I guess that's the best way to answer that question. And I will say that I'm not always upbeat, funny, and positive. Sometimes I get sad. Sometimes I get down on myself, and it's important to constantly feed your mind with positivity. You feed your mind with positivity. You keep positive people around you who will build you up and not tear you down. And that's just the way to go. That's the way to go. So I think some people make it look simpler, make it look easier than it actually is. It's very simple, but it's not always easy. So Nina, I would just say choose that positivity. When you choose to be positive, when you choose, you're going to attract the same type of positivity. You're going to attract the like-minded people. And one step further, you're going to repel those who are not in unison with your vibration. Okay, we have time for one more question. And this question comes in from Ashley. Ashley asks, thinking back to 5 years ago, did you envision your business as it is today? This is exactly what I thought I would be doing. Having my own radio show, funding businesses, being on live on Facebook. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The beauty of entrepreneurship and business ownership is being nimble, being able to pivot, being able to shift gears when you need to. And that's what I love about it. We set goals, we set short-term goals, we set long-term goals, and that's just what we should do. But things happen, changes happen, COVID happens, different opportunities happen, and we just have to be ready for those. And I know you are. Thank you for that question, Ashley. I know you are. I know you all are. All of our listeners are ready and nimble, because that's why you're here. You are here because you are ready, and you're changing the world every day. Thank you for that. Thank you to all the entrepreneurs all over the world. Thank you to the IBGR On Air Talent. We will be seeing you next week. I am David Wilson, Business Savage. No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time, okay? Have a marvelous day. I love that, man. That's like that's great theme music. All right, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being. Let me cut my mic off. Appreciate you being with me today, sharing that with me today. Be sure to get your subscribes, your likes, your what have you, and get all that stuff down. This is fun for me. This is fun. I'm happy to be able to share this with you. And again, I appreciate you all for listening, for watching, and for the support. It is the top of the hour here in Richmond, Virginia, USA. Thank you for joining us here on IBGR.network, here on All Things David Wilson. So check out allthingsdavidwilson.com. Check out IBGR.network. Check out Fund You Up at fundyouup.com, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, All Things David Wilson, on Facebook and on Instagram. And marvelous time. Thank you so much. I'm thankful to be able to do this, and I'm thankful for you all. So have a marvelous day. Have a wonderful holiday season. As I heard today for the first time, I never heard it put this way, but merry everything. So merry everything to all, and to all a good night. We will see you next week.